everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and welcome to another Redmond Roundup, the show where we give you all your latest news and updates on football and LFC related topics. First of all, I want to say thank you for 44,000 subscribers. Second of all, I want to say energy is back out now, season 2. But on this channel, it's out on the channel. It was posted yesterday, so if you want to go and check that out, me, Saeed and Expressions, then be sure to do so. It's also copyright claimed because I fucked up by putting Triple H music at the start. So if you can't watch it in your country, it's because of that. But that'll be sorted for the next episode. And again, if you've got a VPN, then maybe that'll work. I don't have a VPN sponsoring this video, but I'm suggesting if you have a VPN, then that can sort out the situation. Also, lastly, and then we'll actually get into the news, Italy are going to be playing Belgium tonight, and Switzerland are going to be playing Spain. So as always, obviously this is being recorded before, so I just want to let you know that it's not a prediction, it's a spoiler, that Italy are going to beat Belgium and Spain are going to beat Switzerland. But anyway, let's get into today's Redmond Roundup. So, Kylian Mbappe tells PSG representatives that he wants to see out his contract and leave for free. So, according to L'Equipe, which is basically a reliable French outlet, they're confirming that Kylian Mbappe has said to certain people around the club, certain individuals, that he's thinking about not signing an extension with PSG and he's just going to see out the rest of his time while he is there. Now, I'm sure that leads to a lot of us Liverpool fans asking, well, James, does that mean that we can get him for free? Because I'm sick of talking about Mbappe and I want some clarity. And you're still not going to get that clarity because even though, yes, it technically means we would have a run at Mbappe for free, it doesn't mean we're going to get Mbappe for free. There's many factors that come into Liverpool getting Kylian Mbappe. First factor, we'd have to let go of a big player. You've got to understand, FSG, they care a lot about wage structure, and rightly so, because you don't want to end up in a position like some big teams, for example, an Inter Milan, who've bought many big players, and now they're in a position where they've got to let them go because they've either gave them too much wages or whatever it is, and it turns out they just end up in a bit of a sticky predicament. So you'd have to let go of a big player. So who would that big player be? That's one thing you need to happen before even getting a chance to sign Kylian Mbappe, either for free or for a transfer fee. Secondly, how do you fend off Real Madrid? You've got Real Madrid who are also in this race. This isn't Jadon Sancho, where Manchester United were the only team that was in for Jadon Sancho, or at least it seemed that way, and therefore they had the free hit to just go ahead and get that player. We don't have that luxury. We've actually got clubs that have got a lot more money and a lot more pulling power. And then thirdly, people, we need to stay good at fucking football. If we're not good at football, then how are we going to sign a player like Kylian Mbappe when we can't even sign him when we win the Champions League or the Premier League? Like, make it make sense. Like, I do not think we're ever going to see Kylian Mbappe join Liverpool while we have these owners. And I'm only talking about it because I know there's so many people who are sick of talking about Mbappe. That's why I've got the timestamps. But more importantly, I just think it's one of them. We're not going to get him while we've got these owners. He is way too much of a luxury player. He's someone who, although brings a lot of quality, he brings a lot of baggage, and that's baggage financially and everything else. But what FSG maybe fail to realise is if you sign Mbappe, you have got yourself a guaranteed top shirt seller at the club for the next 5 years or however long you want to keep him. So yeah, I just thought I'd bring that news to you because it broke the other day and I want to know your thoughts about the whole Mbappe situation. Do you see Liverpool actually changing their minds and just going, do you know what, let's get this deal over the line? Because I don't. So from one attacker to another, we want to talk about Liverpool are thinking about keeping Origi unless they receive an offer of 15 to 20 million euros. So there's reports that are coming out talking about Origi, saying that Liverpool may or may not be interested. And I just think to myself, first of all, for a player who scored 1 goal last season and obviously was not in favour with the manager, it really does. And I love Divock Origi, massive dick, and also the greatest moments of my lifetime that I can vividly remember in that Champions League final, as well as the goals he scored against Barcelona, as well as the goals that he got against Everton. But he scored 1 goal in the last campaign, and we're talking about him like he's still that player from 2018. Make it make sense, people, because let's be real with ourselves. If Liverpool were in for a striker for 15 to 20 million and he'd scored 1 goal, you're telling me you take that willingly? You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense, and I get you want to you want to cash in on Origi, but if Klopp, who's clearly never been Origi's biggest fan, I'm sure he likes him and he thinks he's a sound person, but if he liked him as a footballer, or he thought he could use him, he would have used him more. And I just think of it as one of these things where, if he hasn't used Origi, then why didn't you cash in on Origi when he was hot shit? Why didn't you cash in on him when he was actually the gold standard of what some people might have wanted at that time? Plus, he was younger. Now we're talking, after the Champions League final, we're talking about a big game player who's 23 years of age. Therefore, he's still got a ceiling. And again, he's a big game player. That's the way you can sell it back then. Now the way you sell it is, well, we've got a 26-year-old striker who scored 1 goal last season. He did score in the Champions League final, but that was like 3 years ago now. And however, we still want roughly 15 to 20 million. It's just not good business. And Liverpool make a lot of good business. And I'm sure there is a team out there that might take the chance on Origi. But I'm leaning more towards Origi's going to stay at the club. And that's what doesn't make sense to me. Why are we going to keep a player that hasn't really been involved with the plans? But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Would you rather see Origi go for that price tag? And more importantly, would you want to keep him? So PSG have added Sergio Ramos and Hakimi to their transfer list, which already includes Gini Wijnaldum and Gianluigi Donnarumma. Also, they're thinking about bringing Moise Kean back on loan. And I'm very interested to see this strategy from PSG. We've just been talking about Mbappe, and we know that they're going to get to keep Mbappe for at least another season. When you talk about these big signings, and when you talk about a pursuit of winning back the title that weren't yours, and I know that Liverpool don't have as much money as PSG, but it really is an inspiring thing to see that they're bringing in the ballers like Gianluigi Donnarumma, Gini Wijnaldum, and they're willing to go out and splash it. The splash and the cash that they very much know they can, but still, it's just that pursuit of wanting to go back and bounce back. And it's going to be interesting to see how Pochettino really does now with a fantastic squad, because that's where we've saw the likes of Jurgen Klopp flourish, the likes of Pep Guardiola flourish. But Pochettino, he's never had a great squad. He had a very good squad that he built up at Spurs, but this is by far the best team that he's ever got the chance to use. And you talk about the Neymars, you talk about the Mbappes that are already there. Then when you add some of the best young players in their position in Donnarumma and Hakimi, that's a problem. And then more importantly, when you add an experience like Sergio Ramos and Gini Wijnaldum, they sold Thiago Silva to Chelsea. It makes you think, could they maybe got over the line in certain games in like the Champions League and the league if they have a Thiago Silva at their disposal? Now they're getting a Sergio Ramos, which is basically next to confirm. So let me know your thoughts about that in the comments. Very interesting to see it happen. I thought he was going to stay at Real Madrid, but he's ended up going to El Francais. Billy Gilmore joins Norwich City on a one-year loan deal. So I like this, I'm not going to lie to you, and I wanted to break this news because Billy Gilmore, one of the best young players in the Premier League, in my opinion, one of the better young prospects, one kind of like a Curtis Jones effect, very, very good, but just not really getting talked about, and I'm very excited to see how he's going to fare on loan at a team where he's going to be playing around the likes of Cantwell and stuff like that. He's going to get minutes. And he's going to be getting that Premier League experience as well. So we're going to get to see how he does it at the highest level. The likes of Mason Mount, they went right to the Championship and improved there. Harry Wilson, another player who went to the Championship and wanted. Harvey Elliott, another example. Billy Gilmore's doing it differently. And it's just exciting more than anything else, because I watched them at the Euros and I've watched them for Chelsea before. I've watched them play well against Liverpool. He has got so much quality about him, and he's got the attitude from what it seems as well. The way he was playing for Scotland, it was so unfortunate that he couldn't finish that tournament, because I genuinely believe, you talk about the little differences that can get you out that group stage. Billy Gilmore could have been that difference, man. I rate him that highly. So I think this is a good move, and I thought it was important to bring that to you. So Dortmund are very interested in Liverpool target Dylan Malen. I finally got to say his name right, people, because I butchered it that much in one of the previous videos where I was speaking about him. But yeah, according to Fabrizio Romano, he's confirming that Dortmund are looking for reinforcements to obviously replace Jadon Sancho, who they've just sold to United. They're looking at Dylan Malen, they're thinking, do you know what, I'll have a bit of that. And let's be real with ourselves, Malen is 22 years of age, he scored 27 goals there and thereabouts. I think he got 37 goal contributions for PSV last season. Like I said, he's a young player, and when you look at Dortmund's track record, they obviously know what they're doing. I've even got a stat here actually. They bought Aubameyang, Pulisic, Dembele and Jadon Sancho for a combined £39 million. That's not even the most baffling part. They sold them exact same players in Aubameyang, Pulisic, Dembele and Sancho for £309 million. Bought them for 39 and sold them for 309, which is just absolutely insane. And it just shows that Dortmund are in good stead. And even though they wanted to keep Jadon Sancho, they just know they've got the right scouting team there to go out and just... They know talent when they see it. And for some reason, in football, you don't see a lot of teams that are fully aware of where the right talent is to find. In terms of chances of this transfer move happening, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it just fits like a fucking glove. It makes sense, you know, for Malen and Dortmund. And I'm sure if Dortmund are interested and they're showing significant interest, go for it, man, because you've saw something and get him in the team. It does also mean that Liverpool are more likely than not going to be pulling out of this deal, and I don't see him getting interested in joining Liverpool anytime soon. I think he'll probably opt for Dortmund. And then lastly, before we wrap up today's Redmond Roundup, we've got to talk about man like Bruno Fernandez. He's getting a contract extension at Manchester United following Jadon Sancho signing, as well as Juan Mata is being given a contract extension as well. I know there's a lot of United fans on the channel. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts on this, United fans, because all that really tells me is that you're not really looking on improving in other positions, or should I rephrase, you are not looking to spend big elsewhere. You've bought your big shiny car. Now it's just... you might get a few little odd players here and there, but I think the Rafael Varanes that we're hearing about, it's not impossible, but I don't think it's as possible as we maybe originally thought. And the idea of a holding midfielder, or should I say, a world-class holding midfielder, I think that's something that we might have to get out of our heads as well. Because Man United, they've spent big, they're in a bit of debt themselves, they're in a time of COVID where they're not getting that ticket revenue and there's a lot of money that they're missing out on. Are they really going to go out and bring in a player when they might not need to? Ask yourself this question if you're a United fan. Are you happy with Jadon Sancho? Very happy. I'm pretty sure the majority of you have just said that you're absolutely buzzing, because you should be. Great player. But also, if you go into the new season with just Jadon Sancho, are you going to be livid? Like, absolutely fuming? And you might have just said yes, but I bet you will not be fuming to the point where you will be screaming Glazers out. Because the second someone says Glazers out, you'll have the Glazers in fan who says, well, they just got Jadon Sancho. They just spent 85 million. What the fuck do you expect? And they'll just say exactly what I've just said. It's a COVID time. They still bought Jadon Sancho. This, that and the other. Like, mate, I really do not see the Glazers going out and spending huge. They had the Jadon Sancho deal done. This was a signing that was just a year too late, if anything. That's why if I was a Man United fan, and thankfully I'm not, but if I was, I would be absolutely livid the fact that we're not going to be pursuing on a centre-back or a world-class CDM. So that's my thoughts on the situation, but Bruno Fernandez is the next player who Man United are looking at extending their contract, basically. But people, that is today's Redmond Roundup concluded. For those who don't know the new schedule of the Redmond Roundup, it's going to be every Monday. Shite, I've just moved my camera. Shit. Every Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Thursdays, the Energy show is back on a weekly basis. And on Tuesdays, I'm probably just going to do like a solo live stream show where me and the chat just, you know, talk, basically. On the weekends, there's going to be no videos going forward unless there's a game, which is pretty much going to be every weekend. So when the season restarts, don't you worry about that. And obviously, the midweek schedule will vary if there's games midweek, like Champions League games and whatnot. But anyway, enough of the boring stuff, yeah. I love every single one of you, 44,000 subscribers. The Redmond Army is only getting more chesty and, more importantly, stronger. So thank you so much for the support that this beautiful community is shown, because it is a fucking great community. As cliche as it is for me being James Redmond, like the Redmond's Army, it feels like something, and that's all I wanted to make. I just wanted to make a community where we could all come here, we could all chat about shit, whether that's football or whatever. But anyway, thank you so much for all the support. Smash a like on the video, only if you enjoyed, you know the rule, and subscribe to join the Redmond's Army. It is free, and I will see you all later. Peace.